Okay, Megan, it's Wednesday, June 16th. You are back on air, and we started by talking about the summit between President Biden and Vladimir Putin that is currently happening in Geneva. And you start out by saying, well, this shouldn't be happening at all, which is entirely disingenuous because, you list all of the things that you are mad about Russia. But how do you expect the president to put pressure on Putin if he doesn't meet with him face to face? And if he hadn't met with him, you would have said that makes the president look weak, and we should be standing up to our adversaries. So your initial point is wrong, and you base the entire argument that that we shouldn't be treating Russia as an equal to our European allies, and that they shouldn't be in the G7. And because they're not in the G7, Megan, they got kicked out when it used to be the G8. And when Joy so gleefully pointed it out to you, just happy to correct you, she says, you give an excuse. I'm really sick. And then you make a sniffling noise, like an adolescent trying to convince their parent that they don't need to go to school that day. I don't know, Megan, if there's anything you should have learned over the past year is that if you're sick, stay home. That's really selfish of you to go to work and expose all those other people to whatever you have, when you should be just staying home. That's not team playing and, showing your moxie. That's just being rude and inconsiderate to everyone who works with you. So that's bad. But then we talk about the birth rate in the United States dropping. And although everyone else gave very thoughtful answers about it being, woman's prerogative and a woman's choice and a woman's priority, you, again, classic Meghan, made the whole thing about you because you just had a baby and it's the best thing you've ever done. And then you list off like all the things that you've had been fortunate enough to be able to do in your life because of the privilege you were born into. Talk at length about what a great life you've had. Never circling back to how having a baby has made that better or is better. But you just went on and on about what a great life you have. And then also in the same argument say millennials have had it really tough. So that's a contradiction. And every generation thinks that they've had it harder than the one before. And every generation before thinks that the new one has it easier. That's been going on, well, for generations. And I don't think there is an easy answer to that one. There are things that have been easier for some and things that have made it harder for some. And there's those two things are always, excuse me, in the equation with every generation. So it depends on the perspective you're coming from about what part of the, has been made easier and what part has been made harder for each generation. And it's not an argument I want to get into because it doesn't fucking matter. I don't think that's why people are not having kids. And no one really talked about the wage gap, but we don't need to get into that either, because you had a great life. Oh Lord. So triumphant return to television with your cold and your sniffles. I didn't get to see what you asked Michael Bolton because we actually left The View and went to a live video feed of the press conference from Vladimir Putin in Russian for the first several minutes, so I'm not sure what happened. But yeah, if you're sick, stay home. And I wish I would have gotten to see Michael Bolton, because watching him, I don't know if he has something wrong with his neck, but it appears as though his head and his neck and his shoulders are fused together in one spot. And he doesn't seem to be very mobile. He looks a little bit like a fused skeleton singing. But anyway, stay home, Meghan.